Las Vegas Discount.net's the best there is. Save up to 50% on your next Vegas trip. And travel, rental, shows, and tours. Find the deals you're looking for. Las Vegas Discount.net. Las Vegas Discount.net. If you're going to Vegas for deals that are the best, visit Las Vegas Discount.net.
Are you a real estate agent, realtor, investor, or are you in the real estate business and you need new listings and deals? We have a solution for you, and that solution has guaranteed results. How much would you pay to get face-to-face with a homeowner that wants to sell their home? What if you also got their email address and daytime phone number? And what if this homeowner also scheduled you to come to their door at a set time to meet with you? Sound too good to be true? It isn't. And it is 100% guaranteed for you to meet face-to-face with a real homeowner who really needs to sell their home. Not only will you get this remarkable contact system and its 100% guarantee, at no additional charge, you will get weekly coaching, documents, and training on how to get that homeowner and convert them into a new listing. When you purchase, you'll also get a one-on-one walkthrough so that you can start using the system today. Visit www.thelistingmonster.com. That's www.thelistingmonster.com. Or call Diana Ortiz at 213-706-0040. Stop wasting time the old way. Use a monster and get actual results today.
So let's talk about the market 2018. It's kind of an important thing as a topic to discuss. I know many of you are probably wondering what the direction is for this year. I have been doing banking and real estate for about 30 years. At the beginning of every year, I pore over Housing Wire, DS News, pretty much every single site on the topic of real estate and the direction of real estate for the coming years. And I look for general trends each and every year. The first trend that seems to be a common discussion for January going into February, is there a bubble, right? Have we reached the peak moment of real estate values? The reason this discussion starts is because we cycle as a market. Every 10 years, the market depreciates. That's a fact. It's happened over the last 30 years. We go up, we go down, we go up, we go down. Sometimes we plateau, then we go up, and then we go down. But historically, prices on real estate go up and prices come down. Okay, we are at the 10-year window for another cycle, okay? The peak of the previous cycle, the peak of the previous crash was 2008, and we started back up. Now we're at 2018, and we've reached a cap point in values. It's based on supply and demand. The biggest problem that has occurred since last year to this year is the simple fact that we have double-digit appreciation in certain markets based on supply and demand. That is a serious problem. Those are the first cities to seriously watch, because if they have, to be perfectly honest, if something happens where more property comes online or something causes a depreciation in value, those are the cities most likely to bubble, right? They will depreciate in value. You will see short sales that have occurred from people who've bought towards the end of the year or into the beginning months of this year, first quarter. That is very likely to happen because of the new tax laws. The new tax laws were basically put into play. This is one of the points that people are looking at for values to depreciate. It's not even me. The chief economist for NAR is looking at the new tax laws and the implications that it would actually have on the coming year. It is very pro-renter, to be perfectly honest. The new tax laws no longer benefit anything over $500,000 or $750,000, however you want to do it. And there's a cap limit, depending on who you talk to regarding the way the law is structured. Now, the reason I'm pointing all this out to you is if it depreciates the value in property, that's something to look at. It is now become a historical fact over the last 10 years that when people lose value in their homes, they don't tend to want to pay for their homes, right? And that's what creates short sale situations. I'm not here to push short sales. I'm here to focus on the 4% that are already in default. What I'm looking for in the future is looking to see if that 4% default rate will increase. That's important. When we start talking about marketing and niches, right, we're looking for percentage of the market of leads. Okay? What else in 2018? What are the builders doing? What is their emphasis? The builders right now are all focusing on entry-level home. They're not working on high-end finished houses. In some of the markets I've seen that they are, but by and large, they're all focusing on condos and entry-level homes. And they're pulling back. Housing starts are down in 2018. So again, a supply and demand issue, even with the builders. We already know this for a fact that the interest rates have jacked up quite a bit, right? So mortgage refinances will down. The rate will probably continue to increase throughout the year. The idea is to slow down buying of homes because we lack inventory. The hope is to plateau where we're at right now. It's a very logical thing to do. And it's something you guys need to look at. Ultimately, what it does is that we have more renters than buyers. We don't have people that are in a position to buy right now. We certainly don't have the properties to list and sell, but we certainly have a serious issue where people are forced into being a position of a renter than a buyer. And now we're starting to see rents go up. So we still continue to have a supply and demand issue. The other big issue that I've seen that's gone on now since 2008 is the Wall Street investors, right? They bought up the extra inventory that was available. Property that became an REO. Many of you probably used to work as REO agents. I got to in 30 some odd years ago. That was the line of work that I originally got into. It was a very logical thing for somebody to be an REO agent, right? It was a huge percentage of the market. They happen. Well, in 2008, REOs started to get sold to Wall Street investment companies, right? And it started to increase the rental position of the market, right? We have less owner-occupied situations, and stuff that would normally become inventory or listings for all of you or possible properties for buyers to get their hands on are now rental properties. Now, you couple that with the new tax laws, you couple that with the increase of the interest rates. We're trying to freeze the market where it stands right now. But people want to buy, people want to sell. Okay? Which means most people are forced to rent. Problem is rents are going up. We have a very unstable market based on all of these things. Ultimately, we have less buyers and sellers. So I'm asked this question all the time from my perspective. What will be the tipping point? What will be the biggest issue? What I worry about the most, if I were a Blackstone or a Wall Street investment company that held a large portfolio of real estate, and I looked at the market and the market started to depreciate. If I saw a depreciation factor start to occur within the market, it would seem logical to me to sell my portfolio while I'm at the peak of the market. Again, real estate rules that we're all aware of, right? Sell high, buy low, right? Make them rentals until that cycle occurs, is happening and playing out on Wall Street. It's no different than gold or oil or any other commodity. So right now we have a situation where real estate is being held by many different investment trusts and are being rented out. And they're waiting till they reach the peak of the market. And when they do reach the peak of the market, they're going to sell their properties. They're going to sell them off and then turn around and buy them when the market tumbles because they've flooded the market with inventory. That's what will cause it, ultimately. I think we have such a limited supply of inventory right now that I don't even know if the investment companies putting their properties on the market would have any effect on the overall inventory issues that we're having in the United States. We didn't allow a natural cycle of real estate to occur. Instead, we didn't allow in 2008 for us to really reach the true bottom. We started to work out deals with people that were behind on payments. We started to bail out and help people and stabilize the market because we couldn't withstand 10 to 20 years of double-digit depreciation and lack of value. Home ownership is a huge thing. Makes sense to all of you? So what does that mean for 2018? What will other realtors and other investors be doing? You have to accept that there's about 1.4 to 2 million people constantly looking for real estate, right? Either as realtors or investors looking to buy and sell or sell and buy, right? And at any given point within the market on a national level, there are about 900,000 active listings, right? We do about 5 million transactions per NAR every single year. Those numbers go up, go down a little bit, but they're on the decline year over. My biggest issue is that everybody's focusing on basic marketing, continuing with the cycle of door knocking, cold calling, and mailers, and they're doing it in massive amounts. Those of you listening or on this call today, I don't know if it's a replay or if you're watching it live. It's February 7th at 3:13 p.m. If you're listening to this live, I'm telling you there are people out knocking on doors in your neighborhoods right now. Fleets of people, right? Hundreds of letters are being mailed out to every available lead source out there. And people are hiring call centers to cold call expireds in abundance. And it's a huge budget. Like they have huge budgets for this lead source. And that's something you guys all have to accept. You have to work outside the box. You have to start focusing on a niche if you want to be successful. The next big problem that I see is that 85% of buyers and sellers go online. It's part of the deal. It is what it is. I think it was inevitable for Zillow, Redfin, Purple Brick, all of these companies to start creating online brokerages. They were successful in doing it. The talk now is that Zillow's getting ready to buy out Realtor.com and capture the entire market, right? So if I've got 85% of buyers and sellers going online, and they've got all the click results tied up, I now no longer can look at, and let's be realistic about it. Door knocking, cold calling, and mailing is going to be done in bigger numbers and in bigger bulk or in bigger budgets than I can afford. I cannot afford to compete with Zillow when it comes to click traffic. So all of you who believe that your Facebook ads or whatever you're running is actually going to generate some kind of response and turn into a lead literally overnight, you're wrong. If you're looking at a web lead that you are cultivating right now, you are looking for a buyer or a seller. You are looking at approximately 9 months for a buyer or seller lead to cultivate online right now. It is not an immediate turnaround. So when I'm looking at these things, I'm looking for literally what's the fastest turnaround for me to get a face-to-face appointment. And I have to accept that there is a low inventory issue. I have to accept that there are people out there that are competing for every listing that I'm after. Ultimately, the thing you've really got to keep an eye on, and this happened to me with my personal business last year, I've had other agents try to take my listings. Okay? That's already happened. I expect it to grow. I hope that the bureaus and Department of Real Estate crack down on it. They seem to be. They seem to be opening to listening about it, but time will only tell. But I know that when people get desperate, they do desperate things. It's the highest level of competition you're ever going to have to deal with. 2018, until the market actually implodes on itself, because we cannot continue to increase. We cannot continue to have buyer and seller issues the way that we do. eventually the market will implode from its